Welcome back to DC-Cember, as we continue with our list of the top 12 Superman actors. With me today is cosplayer Michael Burns and director of the movie Superman World War, Don Callahan. Now that Christmas just practically here, we can move on to our top 1 picks. Before we get to that, here are a few honorable mentions.
A safe Superman means a safe metropolis.
The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Is it propaganda to envision a world where the poor and afflicted can be lifted out of misery?
Sorry I'm late in getting here, sir.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here.
You've contributed so generously to good cause, it's the least I could do.
Superman, how did you manage to get here?
Well, somebody had to manage.
You saved my life. Here, let me write you a check.
No. No reward is necessary.
So now for our number 1 pick.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
It may be obvious, but there is a reason why Christopher Reeve is the number 1 pick overall.
He is the true Superman in my eyes. Mind you, I was 7 years old when that movie came out. We had the Super Friends to watch on Saturday mornings. We had George Reeves on TV to watch, but then here comes this Technicolor movie with this guy who looks like the character. He sounds heroic, he sounds humble, he sounds like he's going to take care of the world, the truth, justice, and the American way, as he says.
Why are you here? There must be a reason for you to be here.
Yes, I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
When I saw that movie, I can remember exactly where I was sitting, what I was eating, what I was wearing. It was a very memorable day.
Yeah, no, just like watching Superman the movie, Christopher Reeve, I watched that. Other than like Max Fleischer's cartoons, that was like the first live action Superman that I watched because my dad grew up with it and he was always a big Superman fan. And for me, as a kid who didn't really have much confidence because being diagnosed with a pediatric stroke, you don't really have a voice. You just kind of wander and try to figure out the world. And whenever I watched that movie, that was like the first thing that caught my attention. Ever since then, I learned to watch that movie plenty of more times till I learned to speak the whole entire movie from beginning to end. And with Chris, he brought that friend that we needed. And I felt like for me, that was, the friend that he helped me realize you're not alone in this world. Because what is it to be different? What is it to be an alien? What is it to be like an orphan? What does it mean to feel like you don't belong? And having that equality of caring for people. The things in the world that we want to be as humans is what Christopher Reeve as Superman embodied. And with that character, I think that hits home with me more because it reminds me of the person that I want to be today.
I can see that because I may not have grown up watching that movie as much, but I did see it fully. I can respect it. I mean, I've seen a few reruns, but I would say like around a decade ago, I decided to fully watch the film, and I can see where you guys are coming from because this was like the first full movie production for a superhero, and it makes sense for it to be someone like Superman because he is the first, and they did a good job. Yeah, like as Mike said, yeah, you believe a man can fly. They did amazing detail to showcase Krypton, some semblance of Clark's childhood with his parents, losing his father, and then traveling to find his place in the world and finally get to reconnect with his heritage a bit, and then coming to the world as Superman and being the first to do the whole clumsy reporter vibe. And he just did it so well to sound so lighthearted. I wouldn't say complete cowardly, but kind of a bit free cat. But
Lois, there's something I have to tell you. I'm really...
I was, at first, really nervous about tonight.
Like if someone's sitting around like this all day and all of a sudden like, oh no, let me tell you the real truth. Yeah, he pulled it off. Just that one little scene when he was in Lois's apartment. Hey Lois, I got something I need to tell you. And I was like, oh, I can kind of see that. Well, mind you, there's all the theories of how come people don't recognize him without the glasses and whatnot, but you can kind of see it. So yeah.
That was definitely some good Juilliard school learning of how to switch actors, or switch character from character. And I don't think there's been any other actor that pulled anything like that significantly as well as what Reeves did.
Yeah, because when you see the other guys, you still see Superman. With Christopher Reeve, he played the bumbling Clark to the T, and then when he was Superman, he was more secure himself. You believed it.
But that's what's great with Chris Reeves. Like, he may be the biggest Superman actor compared to Henry Cavill, but I feel like with his movies, he definitely put himself in shape.
When he first started, he was real lanky. He was skinny. And they even told him, you need to beef him up. And that's when they went and hired David Prowse. David Prowse was like, I'll put him through the ringer, but you got to pay for his food. And he's got to eat steak and potatoes every day because they didn't want to juice him up. They wanted him to do it naturally, which is understandable. So he hit the gym with Darth Vader every day. But going back and forth if you compare the actors, Henry and Chris at the time, he looked great. Henry now, he looks great. In the 70s, that was probably what you would have gotten as a muscular male back then. That was the standard, the way Chris looked.
I agree. That's why I think it worked. Because I say for both in society and even like within comic books, the heroes weren't like that overly muscular. And I feel like that worked for Superman, where he looks strong, but not so intimidating.
Right. And mind you, he didn't have the pads in his suit. So once again, that spandex pushes down on your muscles. So the definition kind of goes away. Whereas Henry's, they put extra padding in there to give it more definition. And they added the silver tidbits to highlight his muscles. But Chris didn't do that. It was all natural, spandex and polyester.
Still though, I mean, for Chris, he was like the first Superman actor to do 4 feature films in a row. And even when we look at his theme, like his theme is used in so many other movies besides his own, like Superman Returns, Smallville, and even little tidbits of Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. And I want to say even like Shazam and a little bit of Black Adam, those later Superman appearances.
When you hear it, you know who it is. And they did the part 3 with Richard Pryor. They were trying to do a more comedic role. They went to Superman 4. Here it becomes, Luthor again with Lenny Luthor and Nuclear Man. They had good intentions. It just wasn't the best.
Where is the woman?
Give it up. You'll never find her.
If you will not tell me, I will hurt people.
Yeah, I could say the quality declined a bit after 2, but it was unique, and plus, I would say Chris Reeve did his best with what he could, and even to this day, people still consider him to be like the best for Superman. I mean, even for people who do like reaction videos nowadays, when they first watch it, they're still amazed by how well he did the role.
Yeah, because they brought him, I'm not sure I'll know about this, no spoilers already, because Flash has been out for like a month or 2 now, and they brought Christopher Reeve back. AI, and I appreciated it. First, there was a silhouette of him flying down, and I knew who that was immediately. I was like, that's Christopher Reeve. And then they showed his face, and whoever did the work, CG or AI or whatever they did for him, I was very impressed. I was happy to see that. And then Helen Slater flies in beside him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too crazy with the CGI but I get it worked for what they were trying to do. Although I would have had like just maybe his son stand in there in costume and maybe have like those like dots just so that his face resembles more his father.
Right? No, I agree with that. No. I agree with you. They could have used old footage. And mind you, when they did Superman 4, Johnny Carson asked Christopher Reeve on the Tonight Show, are you going to do Superman 5? He goes, no. He was playing with the cards he was dealt. The different companies took over the license, and the one company that took over when they had Superman 4 was basically they just wanted to put something out. And it was, I don't want to discredit it, but it was cheaply made. They had Superman with like little cutout flying Supermans.
Even though not all of his films were successes, still, it's amazing what Chris Reeve's able to do with these 4 films and how his legacy is still held up to this day.
Christopher Reeve was on Smallville.
Hello, Clark. I've been expecting you.
That's right, yeah, he was on Smallville as I forgot his character's name, but he was like a scientist that was helping Clark to understand more of his like upbringing.
That, and I thought they were trying to discover the planet or something like that.
Like he was a Kryptonian expert of some sort.
Yeah.
Still, it just shows something how, like, with Chris Reeves and his take on Superman, it's going to be remembered for years to come, and I guess we'll see, hopefully, we get to see some semblance of that in James Gunn's next take on Superman.
This country is safe against Superman, thanks to you.
No, sir. Don't thank me, Warden. We're all part of the same team.
Well, that concludes this year's DC-Cember. I want to thank you both for being a part of this as we got to go through some of the best Superman actors that we have so far.
Well, welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's always fun to talk Superman.
Yes, all day, every day, 24 hours. I am here for it.
As we close in on 85 years Superman, here's the new show, My Adventures with Superman, and with David Cornswet taking on the role of Man of Steel. Hopefully we get to see more stories, something more unique and still classical we can on the Man of Steel. Also, I want to give a shout out to all the viewers that stayed through this year's DC-Cember. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.